Hey, what's up, guys? This is a video response to Eric777. He does a lot of great work on Jesuits. And I was telling him in his last video about the death of Chris Cornell, how it was connected to the Pope, and throwing out a few numbers, especially the 218. Go ahead and tell you, today's the 218th day of the year, August 6th. But he asked me to look into the death of Seth Rich and see if there was anything with his death that connected to Pope Francis. Well, there was, and I found it pretty quickly. If you go to the Gematria website and do date to dates, Pope Francis became Pope March 13th, 2013. And he first visited the U.S. on September 22nd, 2015, and this was 923 days into his papacy. The next day, on 9/23, he gave a speech at the White House, beginning at 9:23 a.m. And so if you go from that day to the day Seth Rich died, which was July 10th, 2016, it was 9 months, 2 weeks, and 3 days. So again, with the 9/23, and so to me, it's real obvious that it's definitely a tribute to the Pope, to Pope Francis, and his visit to the U.S. And I don't know that Derek has done a lot of work on Seth Rich. He kind of came into Gematria. He didn't develop the calculator, I think, till toward the end of 2016, and so I don't know if he's ever had a chance to go into detail on Seth Rich, but I thought I'd throw some stuff out there anyways, and hopefully he'd be interested in it if he hadn't already done some work on it. I was hoping he'd be interested in this as well. But so let's look at some gematria for Seth Rich. I noticed that. Go ahead and do all the ciphers. Notice that he had matching gematria to the moon. So Seth Rich sums to 90 ordinal, 142 Francis Bacon, and 423 English extended, just like the moon. And if you look at Stellarium, get the time right. Ooh, they mess up on time. There we go. You got to be specific with the time when you're looking at the moon, because it changes. It changes the ecliptic coordinates. Its ecliptic coordinates change so fast. But the moon was at 180 degrees, and this is the first degree of Libra. And it's funny because Eric, in his video, he was talking about how Rome not only uses the reef of Rome in a lot of logos, like the FBI logo, United Nations, and he was specifically talking about Anonymous, how they use the reef of Rome. And not only do they use that logo, but they use the scales of Libra as well. So the moon had just entered Libra when Seth Rich was reportedly shot and killed. And the 90 is interesting as well in the name gematria, because that's when the sign of Cancer begins. Cancer is ruled by the moon. Okay, so a lot of moon things going on. And so you put his full name in there, Seth Conrad Rich, sums to 223 Francis Bacon. Another thing that Derek, the Gematrinator, points out so often is that the moon in Hebrew sums to 223 in Hebrew Gematria. And it has a real strong connection to the cycles of the moon with something known as the Sorrow series. A Sorrow series is a period of 223 lunar synodic months, and it's used to approximate eclipses, solar and lunar eclipses. So yeah, hopefully I finally kept this one under 5 minutes. I wanted to, like I said, do a video response for Eric 777, as well as Derek, in the case he hadn't had a chance to look into this. And before I forget, I don't know if I mentioned this part. So if you look down on his wiki page, the Rich family filed a defamation lawsuit against Fox News in March of 2018. This was dismissed in August of 2018, which has been within the past week. And I look at the headlines pretty frequently, mainly CNN, and you would think this would be a story that was at the top. To me, you would think it would be. I guess they're going with the Alex Jones thing. If you read the wiki page, it talks about conspiracy theories on his death, on the reason for his death being that he leaked the emails, Hillary's emails. But so maybe instead of talking about this story, they're leading with Alex Jones and how he talks about Sandy Hook, the conspiracy theories with Sandy Hook, and how there's a debate going on about if this is legal. I mean, he's getting sued over this, right? So maybe they'll open up the Seth Rogen thing later. Anyways, like I said, trying to keep it short. Trying to leave it thinking up to some of the smarter guys out there. And yeah, there you go, Eric. Hope that answers some of your questions on the death of Seth Rich. Later, man.